this is Jesse the Body Ventura. Well, I'll tell you what. Times have been tough, no doubt about it. Tough on all of us. But you know what? So be it. It's the season now to look, smile, and love each other. And there at the Workers Club, you're doing just that. The Workers Club. I love the name.
Okay, it's the Workers Club, full force again. Larry, Gus, Wilson. We're continuing on with Hulk Hogan. He'll carry us through Workers Club 100. Do we want to do anything, or are we just going to do, you know what, we're doing Hogan, Workers Club 100? Or do we now, that's breaking off 100? Breaking off 100?
We'll think of something. An episode
like,
of Hogan Knows Best.
It's this and my marriage that have lasted the longest of things I've committed to. Yeah, so think about that. What are we, 2 years in? Almost 3?
No, almost. How do you go to almost 2 years, almost 3?
No, 2, almost 3. Right?
No.
When did we start this?
104 weeks is 2 years.
Okay, so 2.
I mean, maybe we skipped a week or 2, but we've been pretty consistent. So no, it hasn't been 2 years yet.
Oh, okay. Is it bad that it feels like 3? I was looking through that we've done, what is it, 12 books, something like that, 11 books, something like that. And I was like, God damn. Some of these, oh, fucking hell. They're all a blur. Okay. We left off. We recapped Gus quickly. Hogan was in the Florida wrestling office, surrounded by his peers and his mentors, and they were begging him, hands and knees, please, you gotta call Vince Sr., you gotta go to New York.
Because he left wrestling to become first
a stevedore. Yes.
No.
Yes, first a dock worker, yes.
And then he said,
yes.
Those other guys are making more money. So Hogan talked himself into being the head of the union.
He's running. He's running things. I'm
a union guy.
Okay. When he was watching Mick Foley and Ken Shamrock and all those guys, he was like, "Wait a minute, I'm familiar with this."
Think Hogan ever has a beer and walks along like where Port Tampa used to be, and
reminisces
the way the white
rubs his mustache.
Stuff here, brother.
That's why he got behind Trump. We don't. Yeah. It's not like it used to be. What's funny is that he ratted out Jesse. Doesn't he know how this works? Where all of his union brothers were very disappointed in him when they heard about it back at the docks.
It's a good call.
10. The reason I went to Allentown is that's where they taped TV shows. So you rise, and there's Vince McMahon. Yeah, and there's another person. Doesn't bring up that he's meeting another person in his life that's going to play an important part, doesn't he?
Dr. George Zahorian.
Vince McMahon Sr. is there, and his son Vince Jr., and all the wrestlers and their managers in one dressing room.
Bulldog Dick Brower, Moose Monroe.
yeah, all the guys, all of them. They're all just packed in there like sardines. And they're all talking about what they're going to do in front of the cameras. I remember Vince Sr. had these little teeny glasses, bifocals, that he'd slide down onto the end of his nose. and he would look over the top of them at you. And I was like, when I read that, I was thinking about how Vince would do that. You see behind the scenes stuff, and Vince has the
all
glasses
the
down his
time.
nose, and he's like directing things, and I'm like, oh my god, he got that from his dad. He thinks
About
he's an
my bubble.
artiste over here. He's directing things, and now
Kevin, I'm not
Paul,
Junior.
Paul now's got the cheaters down at the end of the nose. You know, Chuck Schumer's out there with the cheaters at the end of his nose. But then have you ever heard this one? I've never heard this. He also always had 4 quarters in his hand, and he would click them together.
Yeah, I've heard this.
But then I made a mistake. I thought he was like taking 1 quarter and just like rolling it and like clicking them all, like kind of like doing like little tricks with it, like. But he's just doing what, like a jerk off motion with them?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
It's 4 quarters, huh?
Yeah.
Just like scared it.
And if he wanted to, he could just stare a hole through you. And I just wrote the blank stare guy. The guy just stares at you until he gets you to do what he wants, and he's just shaking his quarters. What a fiend! Just staring at you
Now,
with his little glasses on the end of his nose.
I think this is such a weird memory. The Beyond the Mat commentary. There's one where I think it's Jesse and Mick Foley do a commentary with Barry Blaustein for the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry asked Jesse the differences between Vince Sr. and Jr. And he said Sr. was way smoother than Vince Jr. And that you'd get mad, go in the office with Vince Sr. saying you're going to give it to him, and you'd walk out, and he'd have already won you over, and you didn't even realize what the fuck had happened. What are you doing, Wilson?
I'm rubbing my eye. I'm thinking, too. Let me rub my eye. Let me rub my eye.
Why do you look sideways, though? That was bizarre looking.
Look sideways? Because I was thinking, my mind is wandering, so I'm like, I'm looking at my own thoughts. God damn, Larry's on top of me
It was
tonight.
creepy looking, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Look, my wife and I talk about all the time about how, because she has the thing aphasia, she can't, so if you're like, picture Mount Rushmore, she can't picture it. She knows what Mount Rushmore looks like, but she can't have a mental image in her head. So do you know what that means? Like, have you ever heard of this? Have we talked about this before? Okay. Whereas I was like, I've got not only the internal narrator in my head, but then I also can pull the images up. And so you probably just caught me. I was thinking about Vince Sr., and I was like looking at him as I was thinking. I'm looking at my thoughts
in such a deliberate fashion that I thought you were mocking me almost.
You're not rubbing your eye. And first of all, if I was going to do a Larry rub his eye, I take off my glasses, which if I didn't have them on, and then I do the old little this thing. You do a little bit of this knuckle thing, and you really get in there.
I get itchy eyes because I have allergies.
Yeah, that's what I got. It's nothing else. But what were you saying before I distracted you with my roaming?
Vince Sr. was much smoother than Vince Jr. So that's something to keep in mind. Vince
And
Sr.
this is Jesse Ventura?
Yeah.
Vince Jr. is much smoother than Vince Sr.
No.
I want to make sure I get this. No, opposite.
Yeah.
It is always curious why does Jesse just did not get along why he got along with Vince Sr., but he doesn't get along with Vince Jr. He tries to unionize. He's like, fuck this kid. He considers Vince Sr. smoother. And then everybody that comes under younger than Jesse comes through and goes, boy, you walk into Vince's office, Jr., and you leave going, okay, fine, I'll keep going. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I think it's...
He just must have seen him as a kid. He must have just seen him as like a poser. He's doing, you're doing the thing your dad did with your glasses down at the end of your nose. That's not real. Imagine Vince McMahon with the quarters.
We all just kind of pick up weird little ticks like that. We don't even realize where. it necessarily came from.
If you stood in front of Vince McMahon and started shaking quarters in your hand, would it like trigger something? Would he like start
Absolutely.
breaking out into
Yeah.
sweat?
Yeah, we'll go find him at the Super Bowl, just 4 quarters.
Talking to him?
You know what?
There's
If
no
I saw-
way.
If I saw somebody doing one of my ticks, I would think
Oh, that'd be a fight, right? Like,
yeah.
This when we saw it, you saw me rubbing your eyes, and you're like, "The fuck
Yeah,
is
you're
happening
like,
right
I'm
now? This
getting
guy's
shit
fucking
out
yeah."
of
You were ready to, you were wanting fucking blood. Yeah, go to the Super Bowl and you're just fucking shaking those quarters, and Vince is always his eyes just keep going to the quarters and being like, the he's squeezing that little plastic cup of his cocktail a little bit harder. What the fuck is this guy doing? Vince has never looked better. Can we say that at the Super
no, he
Bowl?
looks great. Yeah.
He's trimmed down. He shaved the weird mustache. He's doing the tasteful thing where he's allowing some gray to be there. Fine, you're dyeing the rest of it black. You've got a shock of gray. We'll go with
was
it.
red.
It was
Remember,
red?
more Lady Red this time.
This I thought it
It
looked
wasn't
black.
the
to me,
bizarre
man.
black. Yeah, he had eased
No.
up on the purple food hair coloring.
Undertaker's there with the weirdest hat you've ever seen in your life to wear at one of these things. So what's he doing? Hunting for crocodiles later? I don't understand what the hat was. I'm in New Orleans recording my podcast. Vince, you want to come on my podcast? You think he's asked him that? Or has he said to him, "You're too hot to be on my podcast. I can't touch you, man. I just got my spot."
I don't.
What?
I think it's the latter. Like, I mean, he's kind of made statements about, like, oh, yeah, it's a different atmosphere there now. Guys are being good, breath of fresh air, you know.
Yeah.
But Paul
Vince,
in the
again.
Hall of Fame, even though he didn't want to go in. But we had to have a video production crew with entrance music, and humble guy.
Vince, I can't have you on. I just got a hymn sponsorship. Don't want to lose it.
This is America.
Okay, so he says Vince, he would find out that Vince Sr. was one of the best guys in the world. And he would always make good on his promises. If he told you something was going to happen, it would happen every single time.
Well, we know that's true. He doesn't break his fucking plans.
Yeah.
Like, remember that Backlund title when it was a year out circled on that calendar?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And do you think that's... And then Vince Jr. is just going, you gotta change plans. But then eventually he turned into his dad a little bit. Where it was just like, whatever, no, we're sticking with this. This is the way.
Well, he started that way. No, I
Started
mean,
that
Hogan
way.
did it 4 years. I mean, obviously the business was different. But, I mean, it clearly turned into a...
Yeah, Vince was forced to go into that mode of going away from his plan because of
Yeah.
the downturn in the business.
This is where I turn into a goob who doesn't really... I'm like, God, they should make like a good prestige TV show about the McMahons. And then you... no one would watch that. No one cares. But I'm just like, I want to see that explored dramatically.
Oh, yeah, no.
Vince Jr., Vince Sr., and then...
Like, that could be 20 seasons worth of TV. Like,
Yes. And his damage that he's done to his children and so on. Like, how do you go from Vince Jr. and being like, Dad, I finally know my dad. I work for my dad. Finally, I have this father. And then you're pooping on people's heads, allegedly. Like, how does that all...
well, we'd have to start all the way back in the trailer park. I mean, stepdad beating him with a wrench and all those fun stories.
Leo
What is this?
Lupton.
What was Leo like taking a big shit in the trailer and he's like, you wish you could do this on someone's head.
Well, he intimated his mom might have abused him sexually.
Yeah.
Well, like shit on his head? or just that he's shitting on people's heads out of reaction to that? His mom made him feel less
I don't
than.
feel like don't
His
say
lady's getting uncomfortable.
just go on.
Well, what? Okay, fine. We'll let the prestige people do it. Okay, I don't care.
We've already
We'll let
booked
Bill.
the
No,
show.
no. We'll let Bill.
I have
Hey,
a whole
no.
scene already written.
Hey, no. We'll let Bill Simmons do it. He did such a great job.
But I mean, the first season Emmy is going to be when Junior goes to Senior's deathbed and Senior tells him, "I love you, Vinny."
You think that he did
whoever
like
we have playing Junior is going to.
get in a? It would be like when. Has anybody here seen Succession? No.
I know everyone says it's like the McMahons.
Well, it's not even that, but just like there's a moment where like the oldest son. Oh, no, he's not the oldest son. Jeremy Strong's character, the son. His dad. They have a little back and forth, and then he goes into a bathroom and just absolutely destroys the bathroom out of like impotent rage of like not being able to stand up to his dad. And just I picture that when Vince finally gets an "I love you," instead of just accepting it and having a good moment, he goes into a bathroom and starts breaking Q-tips and screaming into a towel.
See, that's better.
But that time in Allentown, I didn't know him very well. We know. I was really big at the time, and I had a tie-dye shirt on. So he claims, here we go. Hogan claims, so he goes into Allentown, and he goes, I must have opened the curtain too far. He's watching, he's peeking his head out, looking at the crowd. All of a sudden, the whole arena went nuts. Oh my God, they were saying. There's superstar Billy Graham. I must have looked a lot like him. So then Vince Sr. looks at him and goes, take that tie-dye crap off. He didn't want me to be associated with Billy Graham. So he tells Vince Sr. he's not into wrestling anymore. I told him I got homesick and I didn't like being on the road all the time. I just don't like the lifestyle. But Vince said, if you come up here and give us a try, I guarantee you won't regret it. There's a guy, Tony Altamore, who used to tag team with Lou Albano as the Sicilians. And then he says, give this guy job. Oh, so Tony's riding with Hulk and be his babysitter. Well, actually, Tony Altamore was probably the worst mistake Vince Sr. ever made. Tony's in his 50s. You'd think he'd be old enough to be the voice of reason. But no, guess what? Even though Tony Altamore had a wife at home, he knew the girls who would come to the arenas when we were on the road. He knew all that stuff. Hell, I was single at the time, and this becomes a theme in this book so far. And I've read, as we've read forward and all that, where Hogan will be like, "Well, I was single, so like I don't want to be like a prude or anything, but I was single, so I had some fun."
Jesus
He's
Christ!
always couching it in this
Ugly man.
He was great company for me, not in the way Vince meant him to be. I said, okay, so we're to assume Vince Sr. does not know who Tony Altamore is as a person. I said, the WWE, no one ever knows what anyone is getting up to.
Get off your crusade.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Larry's pro WWE company culture. Okay.
Hey, what about Jericho's NDA? That nullifies everything.
You're that guy. Does he have an? What is that? I mean,
Remember
I don't know.
when they had 5 people chanting Kylie Ray at him?
Yeah, Nick Hausman started a rumor and then had to walk it back.
That was boy. Apparently, okay. Where did I hear he works now? He works for somebody now. Oh, Mojo Rawley's Like somebody was like, Mojo Rawley's like a sports agent now that represents wrestlers, and then somebody commented, Nick Hausman works there now.
I
So
was
there
gonna
you
say
go.
you don't hear.
We're so
You don't
close
hear
to.
about him much.
He tried to do a thing, and then he came, and then I think he got tired of people being like, "Hey, remember when you started that thing and it had no basis, so you just absolutely folded?" I think he was before Tony Khan compared Vince McMahon to Harvey Weinstein. He compared Jericho to Harvey Weinstein.
What a world!
Well,
Mojo Rawley as a agent for wrestlers. Why would you limit yourself?
Allegedly,
Wrestlers have real agents. The good ones do.
he might be the
Maybe
next
it's a way to
Barry.
get into the agenting business. I mean, you gotta start somewhere, I suppose.
Let's get the cut of that Alexa Bliss money, huh?
You don't think she's a Barry Bloom client by now?
No, I think that's what it was. That's what was the headlines. That Mojo Rawley was the one that mended those
really?
fences, and yeah.
Oh, I take it back then. See, I'm talking shit over here, and I don't.
Man, he's out there
I
making
think-
wheels.
What's Ridge Holland doing?
Rich is like asking somebody for Mojo's number. They're like,
Or
"Oh yeah,
Madcap
yeah."
Moss? Because those are all the same guy in my mind.
I can't tell a difference. I legitimately, yeah.
Do you remember? Okay, do you remember how high Dave Meltzer was on Madcap Moss? He's
No.
like, God, somebody just needs to give this guy a chance. He's got the look. He's got the.
Is he
There's
the one
like
who
a
wrestled
whole.
in suspenders.
Yeah, probably. He
Or
also
was
had
that
like
Ridge
he had that
Holland?
thing where he had like, if he had been Triple H back in the day, he would be like he should have been wearing long tights, but he wouldn't. So you could be like, look at those thin legs.
Mm.
That's what I thought about when I saw Madcap. Look at those thin legs. I mean, just pile them on. Like the amount of people that maybe that's why Dave has been mad at AEW for a little bit, or like glum on them. I'll say glum. You know, they had the Griff Garrisons, they had this, they had that, and then Dave would just be he'd be fucking tweaking his nips, going, "Oh my god, this guy! If they do the right thing by this guy, he's going to be a megastar." And it got to the point with AEW where every time somebody would show up on AEW television, Dave would say, "Put a belt on him." Immediately put a belt on him. There's a whole pile of guys where it's like, and then they'll go, "There's too many belts. Why do they got so many belts?"
All right, we've heard your Meltzer. This is an old Meltzer criticism, not even a new one.
Like, well, look, I love Dave Meltzer, but it's like, what do you want? You want too many? How many belts do you want? You can't belt up Wardlow, Takashita.
Connect.
I'm not going to try
thought it was
to
Johnny
this in
Cannell.
my current mental state. I'm not going to try to say his first name. Kanesuke,
Konosuke.
Kanesuke Takashita, Wardlow. Should I say him? Hook.
Oh my god.
Wardlow. Joe Lanza says Wardlaw, and then I get confused, and I think, is it Wardlaw? And then it's Wardlow. Wardlow.
Who says
Hook.
it that way?
Joe Lanza says Wardlaw.
Oh God! All right, we got to
Yeah.
get
And
you
I
out
get
of that
confused.
Discord.
You don't like him because I know why you don't like him.
I don't even know Joe Lanza.
You should.
Okay.
You should. Quality person. So Vince McMahon said he would find him a place in West Haven, Connecticut. He saw potential in Hogan. You know, if they were blonde, they weren't as tall as Hogan. If they were as tall as Hogan, they weren't built like Hogan. If they were built like Hogan, well, they didn't have his arms as big as Hogan. Plus, I was a fan of Muhammad Ali, so I used to talk like he did. So Vince McMahon sees him as the package. Other promoters did not. They didn't have the vision to see where I could take it. So he goes back to Tampa, and he's going to go to New York. He needs to pick up his things. Before I left Florida, though, I picked up the Wild Samoans, Afa and Sika. You got a picture of them here.
Yep.
I wrote here talking about childhood favorites with Dusty. I guess I assumed that he just would talk about with the Samoans as they drove up and down the roads. Guys, when you were a kid like me, you guys like Dusty? We got to a point on the road in New Jersey where the signs were kind of confusing.
You guys ever
Okay.
get confused by highway signs?
I assume they're the
pull over
same.
and stop when I do. On the highway.
I assume all signs across America are generally the same on the road. But Hogan, and this isn't the last time he's going to get confused driving. So he gets pulled over by a New Jersey state trooper who saw me with my car full of boxes and stuff. He asked him for his driver license. I had a Florida license, of course, but my car had Tennessee tags because I'd bought it while I was working for Jerry Lawler in Memphis. I wrote car lore. So the cop, getting even more suspicious, asked for my registration. Yes, sir. He runs around to the other side of it. Instead of reaching over, he runs to the other side of the car to get the registration out of the glove box. When he opened the glove box, a gun falls out, or a gun's in there. The cop freaks out. He pulls his weapon. Get on the ground! So the Samoans are getting face down in the snow, so it's winter, I guess. The funny thing is, I had never fired a gun in my life. Never owned one either. When the wrestlers in Florida heard that I was going to New York, they told me I had to buy a gun to protect myself.
Oh my god.
I was just like, why? What is this story? Who is this for? What is this doing?
If this
so
is
many
true,
times
they
I'm
were
reading these.
fucking with him.
Yeah.
Oh, the
And then
big
why put
city,
it?
huh?
Why put it in your book and be like? So many times I'm reading these stories and they're like, so if he's lying, why is he lying? If he's not lying, then he's dumb. Like, then this is just a dumb guy. I'm so confused. He went out and bought a little 22 caliber pea shooter, quote unquote. What I didn't know was that was an automatic 1-year sentence in New York or New Jersey if you're caught with an unregistered firearm. He turns to the Samoans. Help me out here, guys. Tell these state troopers that I just bought the gun, and I don't know a thing about this law they have here. What I didn't know was that there's a law, and then in the moment he goes, I don't know about this law, man. Cops looked at Alpha and Sika. They wouldn't talk. I begged them. They wouldn't say a word.
Probably fucking smart.
So well, they probably heard about the Jimmy Snuka thing. Just play dumb. So I went, damn. They took us all to a makeshift police station. Oh. You ever been to one of those makeshift police stations where they're just like, we're setting up camp here.
So Hogan's at a black site. That's cool.
Yeah. On the side of the road. On the side of the road. They handcuffed me to a pipe outside. I'm standing in the snow, freezing my ass off. Finally, he gets the call. He gets to a real station. Oh, they hauled him in. After a couple hours, they hauled me in the station. His one phone call, I called Vince McMahon Sr. I told him what happened. He said, Jesus Christ. And he called Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla calls Puerto Rican.
A 400-pound headliner. They threw him into a cell and locked me up. The two Samoans sat outside all night like a couple of little puppy dogs.
You think Bob Morella had some Italian friends?
Oh, no
Jersey?
question.
I would love to get Gorilla Monsoon's mom's spaghetti, like the sauce
Ooh.
recipe or something like that. Finally, the cops got a call, and the next thing I knew, I was free on my own reconnaissance. All I had to do was come back there once a month for 6 months to meet with a probation officer. Apparently, Gorilla Monsoon had come through for me. And I was like, so he paid bail, but you were guilty because you still had to, you
Yeah.
clearly were on probation. Now, do you believe this? I was probably the only person during all of 1979 who got caught with an unregistered gun in the state of New Jersey
No, it happens every day.
and avoided that mandatory jail sentence. Okay. Anyway, right? He joins the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and he's going to be Terry the Hulk Boulder. Oh wait, no, he's going to change now to Hulk Hogan. Sorry, I apologize. Why? Because Bruno Sammartino is for the Italian Americans. Chief Jay Strongbow is for the Native Americans. Ivan Putski is for the Polish Americans. Pedro Morales is for the Puerto Rican Americans. But they didn't have anyone to represent the Irish Americans. Yeah? He's the great
true.
Irish
I mean,
hope.
they had Irish Patty Barrett in the late 70s, but no.
Vince Sr.'s shaking those quarters even harder, going, my God, finally, the great Irish hope I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird they never really had a high pushed one before. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat O'Connor was NWA.
You think Finley's ever gone up to Hogan and put his finger in his chest and gone, if I had been born X amount of years earlier, I would have been in your spot?
No, he thanked him for paving the way.
yeah, all right.
We all looked up to you back in Dublin.
Sheamus is like, without the Hulk Hogan. Anyway, again, he says,
Have you ever seen an Irish guy that looks like Hulk Hogan?
all the time.
Yeah.
Well, he says here, Vince Sr. gave me 2 bottles of red dye and told me to dye my hair red.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
When I was done, I was supposed to look Irish. Freddie Blassie was there in the room to supervise the dye job. Vince told me this was the same stuff his wife used on her hair. And this is me clearly getting confused as I read. No, Linda dyes her hair? No, sorry, Vince Sr. The more I thought about it, the more afraid I was that it would make my hair fall out. Is this Hogan being like, look, was it genetics?
Dude.
Finally, I told Fred, I'm going bald-headed the way it is. If I put this on my hair, it's all over. I'll be a pumpkin with a big bald spot on my head. So he pours the dye down the toilet. Fred freaked out. Oh my God, you're dead, you're fired, you're never going to work here. So then he goes up to Vince Sr. and he goes, okay, we'll go with it the way it is and see how it works. And that was the end of the red hair experiment. And I said that never started. There's no experiment if you never do it. And then I just was like, what was this chapter? What happened exactly? He started with the WWWF, and then the Samoans are there, and then...
He's a fish out of water. He's a Lord of Hick in over his head.
Or Colin kind of... Colin said, the Forrest Gump.
I'll defend Hogan a little bit here. before the internet, if you if you're traveling to a whole new part of the country for the first time, I don't know, I wouldn't bring a fucking gun with me, but anyone would be, right? That's kind of a wacky experience.
Yeah.
If we were to
Gotta
believe
go
him, yes.
Find a new territory with directions that, Dusty wrote on the back of a cocktail napkin. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got these
So does
two...
that make... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, you got
yeah.
Samoans in the car with you. That's got to be weird. Like,
Yeah.
Does that make Al Snow even dumber? That he was in our time and he was walking around being like, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing.
Yes.
significantly.
But then I say that, but then Al Snow was like, we talked about it, he was like weirdly 100 years old where he's been working for 45 years.
Yeah.
I think he was following in the car behind Hogan and the Samoans.
Well, yeah, remember he tried out the week of Starrcade 1.
Yeah, I know. It's just, what the... Oh, God. Vince
When Gene Anderson assaulted him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Hogan didn't let Matsuda feel him up.
Dude, brother, Matsuda broke my shin in half, and then he grabbed my balls and tugged on them. It was like, you like this?
Then he drank a 12-pack of beer before bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, life in worldwide wrestling. Vince McMahon Sr. brought him in as a bad guy. I don't have anything here until...
No, nothing.
Oh, he goes,
It's
okay.
weird, though. Like, you're going to push him as, like, you want him to be for the Irish, but you're going to position him as a bad guy. Like, that kind of goes against, like,
Yeah.
the ethnic babyface trope.
Well, I mean, maybe because the McMahons don't really push black people, they were like, Irish, that's the next closest thing, or Italian, right?
All right.
That's a stretch.
No, man, Larry's just been
the
all
Irish-
over. He's been scaping for WWE the whole time. He's turned some kind of lead. He must have loved the Royal Rumble or something. Larry's all in on WWE.
There's generational. I think they should just play Jay's music all match long.
Yeah. Larry, why do you have those Yeet sunglasses on right now? Those aren't prescription. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna get more Hogan car lore.
Yeah, this
let's
one's
talk
a
about his
whopper.
vehicles. So fans would let their feelings about
What
me
did
carry
he
over into the
have? What
parking
were the
lot.
two cars he had? Stingrays.
Before this, yeah, he had the two car, yeah, the two.
And then he had the Econo line.
Then he had that one, but then he was driving. What was he driving with the Seicas? He was driving a. Let's see. Oh, he's just saying that car I had a Tennessee tags. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he had a Lincoln Continental. But so you go out to the parking lot. They knew what car he had. My tonneau would be broken off. My windows would be cracked. My tires would be slashed. There'd be like 500 watts of spit on the car. Just looked like a bunch of kids that sat around for an hour just spitting on it. So he started parking at the Ramada Inn on 48th and 8th. Then he'd take a taxi. One time that didn't work out. He was wrestling Gorilla Monsoon, as previously mentioned. Freddie Blassie's managing him, showing him how to stay strong in the ring.
But Gorilla's a heel too. Why would they wouldn't do what? Come on.
I'm looking this one up.
Freddie Blassie's saying, "You're giving too much."
And
Rick
Blassie was
Testa.
managing Hogan when he came in. Like,
Yeah, he says Blassie's managing him. He's
I
saying,
thought
"Hey,
he was managing Gorilla.
no, he's managing Hogan." He's saying, "Hey, you're giving up too much. You should no sell." I was 325, 330 in those days, but I looked 380 because my waist was narrow. Imagine somebody saying that to you at the bar.
I was like 320, but because of my narrow waist,
I
easily
looked 380. Yeah. You're like,
Maybe
okay.
Gorilla turned babyface after, before he retired because they worked a few times in MSG here. Although, it's the third match on the show, and Hogan's acting like it's got nuclear heat that they're going to burn his car. Unless
They're making
Bulldog
Gorilla.
Brower and Joe Mascara had just as much heat because they came after them.
I can assure you that they did not.
They were making Gorilla dress like he did when he was announcing. He has like the tinted glasses on, the blazer. Hogan is ripping the blazer off and beating the hell out of him.
Oh, fuck. The main event was Backlund Patera. I'm in for that match.
Oh, man. Give me Patera. Should have given Patera the Duke.
Well, Gorilla Monsoon was a big New York hero. He was 400 pounds.
So, if you look at him and Gorilla, there's only a 20-pound difference between them.
Well, he looks 380 because of the narrow waist. He's actually...
That's what I'm saying. Visually, they should only look 20 pounds off. Right?
It's all on his shoulders and arms. He's just like he's a huge, really weird triangle.
Muscle weighs more than fat.
And Gorilla, it looks like a fat tub of shit.
I don't know.
He was the cream of the New York main event.
Hogan was probably 6'5" and 290. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching that Rocky clip, the Stallone clip. I was watching that before we got on here.
Yeah.
And even he kayfabes to hide his own height. He's like, Hogan is 7 foot tall and probably 350. Johnny Cox. And I'm like, well, he's saying that because Stallone's probably 5'4". But
yeah. Vince McMahon had me beat Gorilla Monsoon in 38 seconds. What the fuck did I write here? Oh, okay. So he leaves the Garden after beating Gorilla Monsoon in 38 seconds. The fans were not going to let me get away with it. Gorilla Monsoon's fans got a hold of the taxi and actually turned it over. The driver was scared out of his mind. He thought he was going to die. That's what I wrote. I wrote, taxi driver, it's fake! As he's getting turned over. Help! Even the cops who showed up on horseback were scared. They had never seen this before. I said, "Oh, they'd never seen this before," and he said, "And yet, it's been in a few of the books we've read." It was like Brett even wrote, like, then I was trying to leave Madison Square Garden, and people were like bashing in my windows and stuff. It's always in there. The fans are New York fans. Look, either these wrestlers are lying, or New York fans are the dumbest fans of lie.
I don't feel like I hear many fan violence stories out of New York. I know Cornette says Mid-South was insane. Like the fans would, knife you down there.
Yeah.
I don't really, off the top of my head, it's usually the Southern Territories that have those type of stories. Ole was stabbed in Atlanta. I don't know.
God damn it.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
You never heard that story?
Trying to get a succulent Chinese meal and some asshole stabs me. Fuck.
Hogan's the number one bad guy in New York, according to him.
Nope.
So now he's talking about Fred Blassie being a legend in Japan. And he says that Fred had filed his teeth down before his match with Riki Chosu.
Oh, this fucking story. God damn it.
And he bite him in the head. And then Riki Chosu would cut his head with a razor blade. And then Fred would start sucking the blood out of his head. And when he was done, he backed up and he would spit the blood back in Riki Chosu's face.
But
that's
it was
how it-
barbaric when Hangman did it, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Blassie was doing it in 54.
Yeah. It made
Yeah.
headline news in Japan because of a bunch of elderly people who were watching at home had heart attacks and died. His first match in Japan, Hogan. Now Hogan's in Japan, by the way. Okay, he's in Japan now. It's against a guy named Riki Chosu, who would represent Japan in the 72 Olympics.
Jojo dude.
Freddie Blassie, who knew Japanese wrestling as well as anyone, said, "Oh, he's supposed to lose, I think. Oh, we're going to go to a Broadway. It was going to go to a draw. Okay, it's going to go to a draw." He claims, Blassie goes, "Screw that, kick his ass." What? This guy's
Choshu not in the 72 Olympics.
I
Was he in
read that
the
he did.
Olympics?
Hold on.
No. They
Is he
wouldn't let him
confusing him
because
with-
he's part Korean.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so he had the skills too, but they
But
didn't-
Japan's just a fucked up racist place and was like, nope.
Oh, yeah,
not
he was-
representing us.
Yes, he was selected to represent them. but
Which
they-
makes me think that's kayfabe too. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
Any wrestler saying they're in the Olympics is usually bullshit.
full of shit. Yeah.
Wasn't Vern supposed to represent America in the Olympics?
He has the same story exactly.
That's right. When the fucking Kaiser,
Kerry Von Erich.
So Hogan looks at Freddie after he goes, "No way, we're not going to do the book finish. Kick his ass." The fact that this book came out in the year it did, 2003, and Hogan's like always waffling between shoot and fake.
But I feel like he's realized he's at the point now because in 2002, mainstream fan
Yeah.
can probably tell if he tries to lie about WrestleMania 3, but they can't see Japan shit.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you got, a telescope, Meltzer? Why are you seeing this Japanese wrestling?
Hogan doesn't know that we were uploading .mov files on the
Yeah.
Death
He wasn't
Valley
trading
driver
tapes.
board.
Yeah, he wasn't trading tapes. He wasn't going to RF video. But this guy's an Olympic wrestler. Fred said, "I don't give a damn. Go out there and beat him up." And then Hogan just is like, "How? Doesn't matter to me. Just beat the living crap out of him." So he goes in the ring with Riki Chosu. I hit him as hard as I could with my forearm. That was about it. He never recovered from it.
God,
And he does it. He goes, "Anyway, I beat the guy up for 2 or 3 minutes and won the match." It made unbelievable news in Japan. In fact, Fred and I didn't pay for food in Japan for the next 2 years.
I think that's just Fred running out on the bill.
Hey, remember what fucking Kern said about Freddie
Yeah,
Blassie?
yeah. Oh, yeah. He's fucking like,
Come on, we got to hightail
what
it,
a
kid.
loser.
Didn't they cut up his clothes or something?
Yeah, he was always fucking with all the people that took it too seriously.
I'm not paying for this steak.
I like this though. I had 3 question marks after this passage. Here we go. I never have heard of this. I don't know what he's talking. There was another reason I was becoming so popular in Japan. The guy known as the Japanese Elvis had bleached his hair blonde. I had blonde hair too. And I had played music for almost 10 years back in the States. So the Japanese people said, "Our Elvis has returned. He used to play music and he's got blonde hair. Now he wrestles."
I have
What?
no idea.
The whole thing was pretty damn weird. I'll say. What the fuck is happening?
That's gotta be
Uh,
somebody fuck. I feel like a lot of these Hulk stories now are just people fucking with him because he's kind of a dumb guy.
oh, yeah, you know why the Japanese crowd loves you? You look like Japanese Elvis. Well, who
Yeah.
was that? He was a blonde guy.
Well, I looked him up, but he's not blonde.
Well, of course, if he's Japanese Elvis, unless he's got a wig.
Well,
No, he's a guy who they called Japanese Elvis, Hideki Saijo. But he's got like a black pompadour.
yeah,
Elvis.
it doesn't look anything like Hulk at all.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait a
That's at
minute.
least what I got.
Why would any Elvis character dye his hair blonde? Or bleach
That's what I'm
it,
saying.
whatever
They were just fucking with Hulk. Like, you look like the Japanese Elvis. That's why you're so popular.
Larry, you're looking at him. Does he even look like Terry?
No.
No. I mean, no. He's got a
He
little
doesn't have
bit
a.
more, he's got a little bit more of a stone face for a Japanese man. So
He looks
maybe,
more like a Noki than he does Hogan.
You're right.
Maybe Hogan was really stoned one day, right?
No,
And they're
you
like, "You
totally
look like Japanese
smoking.
Elvis."
You're not smoking anything over there.
The fans started calling me Ichiban, which means number one. From what I could tell, the TV business over there wasn't run by clean-cut executives with Ivy League degrees. Rumor had it was run by the
Yeah, it's like those
Yakuza.
clean-cut American TV executives.
Yes.
Hey, back then they were gentlemen. Dick Ebersol.
Mhm. Ted Turner. Rumor has it was run by the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. Over here, we talk about the mafia, but we don't see it. In Japan, it's visible because a lot of the hotshots have the cut off fingers and body tattoos associated with that lifestyle. And he just moves on. And hey, yo, it's the theme here. Food alert. The food there was different. The language was different. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Anyways, he didn't say that. He said one of those times. I was getting ready to cut a record album with a hot Japanese band called Pink Cloud. And I needed some models for a music video. I called the Ford modeling agency over there, but I couldn't understand the receptionist. All she spoke was Japanese. He's just making no headway. She's like, "Konnichiwa." He's like, "Huh? Model. Models." So I called the number 2 modeling agency. He just goes down. All right. Place called Folio. The woman who answered the phone spoke perfect English and was really nice to me. I said, "I'd like to see pictures of the girls." Which, if you're the receptionist, hang up.
Oh,
So he
absolutely.
calls. He goes, "I'd like to see pictures of the girls." You hang up. Come by the office and I'll show them to you. All the while, I thought she was from England or something. I was like, because she spoke English?
Oh my god. Well, he thinks
Huh?
the French are from Canada, so.
So he goes in and he's like, "She's a beautiful Japanese girl. She's not from
Hogan just wants you to
Blackpool?"
know about the first time he fucked a Japanese woman, and he's just
Yeah.
being coy about it.
We became friends, and I hung out with her for the next year or so every time I came back to Japan. She made life easy. After a while, I didn't want to go home. This is getting into Brett territory.
Yeah.
But of course I did.
But did she soap him up with her pussy? That would be the. I'm sorry to be so
Yeah.
crude, but that's Brett.
Yeah. Sorry to be so crude, but that's Brett.
I'm making an illusion.
A Fraulein. But of course I did go back because Vince McMahon wasn't going to let me stay there. Wow, Vince destroyed this love story of the Ken Hogan going up to the receptionist like, "Hello, governor." English. Do you want to knock out the deodorant king, or do you want to take a
I
break
think
before
it's
we?
safe to knock out the deodorant king.
Okay, because it is
Why is this
one
safe,
page
sir?
long. So we just Hogan, he's shattered. He's leaving Japan to go back to worldwide, and then he goes chapter 12, the deodorant king. Mike Sharp was the biggest hygiene freak I'd ever met. Now, when you watch these Mike Sharp matches from now on, these YouTube channels that do like jobber playlists, I want you to think about this. There were times when he would get locked in the building after everybody went home because he was still in the shower washing off. And I was
Mike
like,
Sharp took.
So
an
if he's
inc-
go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
I was just gonna say
No.
he takes an incredible brainbuster from Coco Beware on Superstars. So he deserves his
why is he
flowers.
Why is he staying in the building so long?
Well, it's he's probably got an opening match, and he's in the shower for like 5 hours.
What's going on in there? Hogan is he trying to tell us something, or does Hogan generally believe, oh, he's just a hygiene freak? Every time I go back there, he's in the showers. Weird.
I don't know.
Usually, a guy would put a right guard deodorant stick under his armpit and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. Is that what you guys do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done.
No, I go 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2.
But I
1,
use
2.
like really
1, 2, 1, 2.
hardcore. Probably is what giving me cancer deodorant. So
Oh, you got the cancer giving deodorant.
yes,
The one it's it's all you got. The don't grab the deodorant that says all aluminum. You got to get the normal one.
that 25% aluminum. It works.
Larry's oddly silent. I don't think he wears deodorant, guys. He's a stinky boy.
No, I just switched kinds because I had forgotten to wear some to work one day,
Yeah.
and I'm conscientious. I
Yeah.
didn't want to smell
Yeah.
around my coworkers.
Yeah.
So I stopped. I just grabbed the first thing off the shelf, and it's more of the gel kind. Where
Yeah.
Oh, I
Franks
don't
gives
like
you
that.
just the perfect amount. So
Yeah,
that's
No.
you to experience.
Mine's a
That's
gel.
where I'm at in life. Yes.
Yeah.
I used to do the clear. I don't like the clear. I go back to the white all the time.
Yeah, I'm on the clear. I used to use the
Now
spray in high school. That was fucking awful.
You used to use what?
I used to use spray deodorant.
Now I'll say that I not that long ago was like, you know what? I'll give the organic stuff, the native stuff a try, and it worked for like one day, and then my body was like, no, this isn't it. You need the aluminum. You need the all aluminum. Go get the aluminum stick. You want that? So I went back. Can we talk about Old Spice? I'm Old Spice all day. Classic Old Spice.
That's the gel that I bought.
Okay.
The wood flavored one. Cedar
Ooh.
wood.
Oh, timber. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wood flavored, Larry. Don't consume that. Mike Sharp would carry on a 20-minute conversation and swab his arm with the stick the whole time.
Again, people. Maybe he's fucking with Hogan, and Sharp's just an Andy Kaufman style genius.
He's like, watch. I would walk up to Hogan and just be pantomiming, doing this as I talk to him.
He's betting. I don't know, Mr. Fuji. How long it'll take for Hogan to be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Hogan never breaks.
I think it's too stupid to know that it's the rib
He
guy.
would use the whole damn stick, and then he would start on the other armpit. In fact, if you looked in his bag, he had 30 or 40 deodorant sticks sitting in there. Then, after he was all done using the sticks, he'd go back and take another shower. And he would do the same thing over and over again until they kicked him out of the building.
Can't be real.
I know. I wrote 3 question marks. It was like, there's no way.
I think old
What?
MJF had the Hogan tapes. He got to the end of the book. It wasn't quite long enough, and he had to go back and be like, "Where can I stick these random fucking stories in this book?"
Yeah.
I think it's a story worth telling, though, just because it's so stupid.
This went on every night. The guy was a total wacko for hygiene.
Hulk just sad that he's not in Japan with his alternative timeline wife.
I know. Imagine Vince Sr. breaking up your love in Tokyo, and you come back, and Mike Sharp is just dumping sticks of deodorant, talking to you. Hey, you like it over there? Yeah. You ever try to eat this? Did you go to what's the place, the steakhouse they all go to? Yeah, you ever go to Ribera? You come into Ribera? You get the jacket? He's just fucking with his arm. He's just fucking dropping sticks, picking up another one. Hey, I gotta go to the shower now. I'm definitely not sucking or fucking back there. Just so you know, I'm clean. I'm a very clean guy.
All right, before we break, in honor of our guy, Mike Sharp.
They go take the Brainbuster.
Yeah,
That's a nice try.
the Ghostbuster.
Maybe we're being too hard on Mike Sharp. Maybe somebody was wrestling was like, "You stink like shit, man," and now everybody like, look, was like, nice.
Fuck.
No one will ever say that he didn't smell.
Can we go back real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
No, do it.
Okay, anyway.
That's fine. That was like just on the top of his head. There was no bump there.
Oh, but when Ricochet does it, it's a problem.
Coco is a Hall of Famer. He's a
Yeah.
professional.
He is a Hall of Famer. That's right. Is he a Hall of Famer? Was he put in the Hall of Fame
yeah.
yet?
Coco's like the guy Meltzer always uses to like discredit it.
Oh, so he hasn't actually been asked to be in the Hall of Fame yet,
No, he's in
or
it.
he hasn't? Oh, he
Yeah, he
isn't. He
is.
did a speech
Yeah.
and everything.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
got a speech or if he did. It was like one of those like,
Keep it short.
yeah.
Don't mention.
No,
don't
no,
mention.
he had a full on 2009, so he had a full on thing.
What?
Let me look at the 2009 WB Hall.
There's
of
no way it was. There was no way it was broadcast anymore.
Class.
2009? No way.
All right, Stone Cold. Yeah,
He was in the
Point of
Stone
the-
Cold one.
Stone Cold, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Cowboy Bill Watts, Howard Finkel, and Coco Beware,
Wow, Coco. That class.
and then the Funks and the Von Erichs as well.
Coco's definitely looking around going, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this a real Hall of Fame, guys?
Yeah.
I feel like
He was the Birdman.
he goes, feel like Dave Meltzer's going to use me to discredit this Hall of Fame because I'm looking around, I'm seeing a lot of Hall of Fame, but then I'm here.
Well, other than Vince Sr.'s limo driver, who's also in the Hall of Fame, James Dudley.
Now I feel like a guy I know who would be like, well, why was Fauci pardoned? Why is the limo driver in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
What was so Hall of Fame about him driving around Vince Sr.?
All right, take a break.
All right.
I don't know what it is.
Chapter 13. The Giant. My biggest ambition was to be as big and powerful as Andre the Giant.
What does
Just-
that
I don't-
mean?
I don't want to spoil things. He's like, how do I get a disorder?
He's gonna go to a nuclear plant. Like,
Yeah.
pointed at my thyroid, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of going to go into like again where like Hogan goes into like child territory where it's like I'm looking up at the this guy that's like my peer and colleague. I'm looking up at him. I wish I could be like him when I grow up.
Mhm.
Quote, I've got a huge head, but Andre's was about 3 times the size of mine. He could be a great guy, but if he got on his bad side, Hogan knows because he was on his bad side for a number of years. And Hogan attributes it to it was all my talk about how it was going to be his size. See, start of chapter. That got me in trouble. I was just saying it because I admired him so much and got on his nerves. So Hogan is saying that he just like this chapter started out. He's walking around the locker room going, "Dude, I wish I could be as big as you." And Andre's like, "I can't control this." Offensive what you're saying. Dude, how'd you get so big? He's like, disorder. Vince McMahon Sr. sent Andre and me to Louisiana to wrestle in the Superdome. Bill Watts wanted me to do a job for, in other words, lose, to a guy named Wahoo McDaniels. But Vince Sr. said no jobs. I was supposed to lose to Andre after I made myself looking big by beating Wahoo. So then Bill Watts is unhappy that I wouldn't lose to his boy. And he goes to Andre and tells Andre that Hogan's not going to do any jobs, not even for Andre. Even though I was there for that very reason. Andre was so pissed off he nearly killed me. Damn near killed me.
Would that have really affected things in New York if fucking...
No, not at all.
Hogan takes a loss in Lafayette, Louisiana, or wherever he's at.
Hogan is going to Bill Watts and is like, brother, I got to be strong in New York. I can't lose to Wahoo.
Yeah, because New York wasn't doing like national TV. No one was doing national TV at the time.
Yeah.
Bill Watts just says something super racist. JR just kind of nods along in the corner. It is what it is.
How about that Barry Switzer?
Andre messes up Hogan's shoulder, screwed up his neck. He even suplexed Hogan on his head. And I was like, wow, a shoot suplex.
But he wasn't wrestling Andre.
Yeah, he was here in Louisiana in the Superdome.
I thought he was wrestling Wahoo.
No. He's going to, and then he beats. I guess he beats Wahoo, but because Bill Watts is mad about that, he goes over to the Superdome with Andre, and he goes, "Hey, he's not going to job for anybody, not even Wahoo." And then Andre suplexes him in retribution.
I don't know. That's not really the way that reads. He just
You don't think so?
Vince sent me to wrestle in the Superdome. Watts wanted me to
sent Andre and me to Louisiana. Sent Andre and me to Louisiana to wrestle in the Superdome.
Yeah, but I don't think that mean wrestle each other. Just loading them both out.
Yeah, but then he says Andre was so pissed off he damn near killed me. He messed up my shoulder.
I know that's what I don't understand though, because he says he's supposed to wrestle Wahoo.
Well, no, yeah, at some other point, or I guess.
All
I
right.
don't know. I don't know. Look, don't look to me to be like,
because that sounds weird to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't remember them loaning guys out like that late.
No.
Can you imagine Hogan going up and he's like, "What's happening? It's a shoot." Oh, Andre's doing a normal wrestling move to him. Oh, but it's for real. Fuck my neck. That wasn't the only time Andre beat me up. Happened on a regular basis. In fact, I used to just get sick thinking about wrestling. I get so nervous I'd puke. When they'd be in Japan, he'd sit in front of Andre on the bus. And Andre would just bounce beer cans off of his head, according to Hulk Hogan. I just wrote, well, it's a huge target.
We have
How
our
can you
answer.
not?
I am
the
wrong.
answer?
Hogan is right, and you're right. You happy? First match, August 2nd. They did send him to Mid-South.
I'm happy.
For August 2nd is Andre Hogan. Go double count out. And then the next night is Hogan Wahoo.
Like that's Larry asking me, "Am I happy?" He went down the wrong pipe. Apologize. Yeah, I'm super happy I got that right. Finally, I got some territory stuff right. Oh my god, I'm lighting up inside.
Wow, and it was in Lafayette, Louisiana. Wow.
Wow.
When we stopped on the bus, instead of him getting off the bus to get noodle soup out of the vending machines, I'd run out and get him all the food he needed. And this is a lot of passages here where Hogan starts going, he's looking at Andre and he's like, oh, poor guy. Look how hard it is for him to get around. Look how hard it is for him to live his life. I need to help him.
I need to be like that, though, dude.
And also I want to be as big as you. People were real mean to him. He used to walk behind him through airports and hear the type of things people would say about him after he walked by. What a freak of nature. I guess this is in Japan or just in general. What a freak of nature. What an ugly person. God, he walks like a cripple. I was like, this is just Hogan taking shots.
It really is.
I have a theory. Hogan did not like Andre the Giant.
I mean, he's putting beer cans off his head. He's making him his errand boy. Like,
and he's doing the thing. Yeah. Actually, I liked Andre, and when people would be like, "God, he's so fucking ugly. He fucking walks like a cripple," I'd be like, "That's too bad. That's too bad." Andre's life was hell, 24 hours a day. He couldn't even bathe, right? He couldn't even bathe. And so Hogan would come into his hotel room. If he needed me to scrub his back for him, I would do that. I just liked the guy so much. I felt so bad for him. That's when I wrote, Hogan is scrubbing down Andre. He was French-Canadian. I should wait for Larry to come back because this was his catch.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. He was French-Canadian. He had been born in France. That's probably why I glossed over it. I was just like, okay.
God.
So he must just... I mean, Andre was big in Canada.
Was he? I don't know. Maybe he came to mind.
So maybe that's why. Maybe he just kind of...
Canadian citizenship.
I tried to look that up, and he lived in North Carolina, so...
Well,
I think Hogan's just a dumb guy, and...
Yeah.
He thinks everyone's Pat Patterson, who speaks French.
He's like... What are you,
that's why he
Montreal?
can speak English, because he's Canadian.
Yeah. But this led me down a weird little rabbit hole. Andre the Giant, not ethnically French.
Really?
Born in France, but he's Bulgarian and Polish.
Oh.
That checks.
Yeah, it does.
Looks a little like.
His favorite food was French food.
French fries.
I hated French food, but I'd sit there with Andre, and he wouldn't just eat one or two dinners. He'd eat every goddamn thing on the menu. Everything.
Why do we need these stupid stories? These are Chuck Norris stories.
You don't believe this?
Come on.
I'm talking about every dish they served. And then he breaks it down again for Larry. Just for Larry, he breaks it down. So instead of eating for an hour, like most people, he'd sit in the restaurant for 8 to 10 hours.
Come on.
That's how long he would take to finish his meal. Parentheses, S, meals. I mean, I wrote there, I don't believe you.
Sorry, did I miss
And
you
he-
talking about Hogan scrubbing his back for him?
You
Yes.
did. We did. We talked about that.
Sorry.
That's where at first we goes, I just liked the guy so much, and I just felt bad for him. So that's why I was doing that, scrubbing his back, and it was like that's when I was like, wait a minute,
I had to take a
what's
pill,
Hogan?
and I don't take pills well. And I realized if I gag, I don't want to do it on camera.
Like I just had done. Like you're gonna have to edit that out of me going, wrong pipe. As soon as I swung onto the by the way, Andre could drink. Hogan swings onto the bus. Everyone said, and like just imagine 15 guys. Hey, did you forget your best friend's birthday? I didn't know it was Andre's birthday, so I said, "You gotta be kidding." I hate this. This is also stupid. I went running across downtown Tokyo, where a friend of mine had a bar. He lived upstairs, so I banged on the door. Is anything doing this for either of you? Like all these details of this lie?
No.
I made him get out of bed. Then I made him give me a case of Poulet Fusée wine. Poulet Fusée? Poulet Fusée? Poulet Fusée wine. 12 bottles of the real strong French stuff. So he goes back to the bus. Andre is now in his usual spot. Hey, where you been, boss? I've been getting you a birthday present. So I gave him 12 bottles of wine. And we all sang happy birthday to him. He opened the first bottle of wine at 7:30 in the morning. So this would be then... So they're getting on the bus to travel at 6. I don't know. He's running around downtown Tokyo. He's got time to go back to the bus. They're all just waiting there. They're like, don't leave yet. Hogan left. He's getting a birthday gift for Andre. At 10 in the morning, 2.5 hours later, Andre kicks the back of my seat. Pissed, stop. I was his monkey. Don't tell me you drank that whole bottle of wine already. I didn't drink one bottle. I drank all of them. 12 bottles in 2.5 hours. And then he wrestled like he'd been drinking water. Wow. Andre came to Tampa and called me from the airport. Hey, boss, I'm here for about an hour. I was at my mother's house, which is only like 5 minutes away from the airport. I was like, okay, this checks out. So I raced down there. Wait a minute. It's 5 minutes away. He met Andre in the Crown Room at Delta. In 50 minutes, I saw him drink 108 beers. 108 12-ounce beers, brother.
No wonder everyone's saying he walks like a cripple.
He's drinking 2 beers a minute. That's insane.
I wish I could find the article, but there was someone who debunked the Wade Boggs, 107 beers on a flight thing. That much water would kill you.
Shit, has anybody done this just tells me Hogan hasn't even done a power hour.
That's 2 beers a minute.
And you're just like, yeah, that's insane. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't.
He was 6'11". Okay, he wasn't 25 feet tall. He he maybe consumed 1.5 times what you do.
I mean, if it's just the 50 minutes, you have to only be doing that, and Hogan has to just be sitting there, making idle conversation while and just watching him like crack open and just.
How would that be enjoyable for Hogan?
Are you trying to break a record or something, brother? Yeah, he's just like, well, what's happening? What did I walk in on?
It's yet another bit.
Oh, man.
They're like, how long do you think Hogan will take before he says something?
Do you want me to crack open the beers for you? Would that make it faster if I did that for you? I don't know what's going on. Just like a...
It's so... I don't know. There's probably an actual good
guess
story
what?
in there if you were honest about it.
Yeah, things that they talked about, if anything.
Yeah, be like,
Well,
dude,
guess what?
put down 4 bottles of wine one night. Be like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Not 12.
talked
in an
about
hour.
love. Talked about how hard it was to find love. Talked about his daughter, something like that.
The one he didn't
Nothing.
acknowledge.
He eventually. Don't, Larry. Don't judge people on the worst moment of their life.
That is the only
Guess what?
time to judge someone. That's when the true beauty comes out.
Larry's like, Andre's telling us who he is, and we're not listening. Well, guess what, Larry and Gus? It's about to get a whole lot dumber. Because guess what? Andre sometimes had to use the bathtub as a toilet.
Maybe that's where Vince got the idea from.
And then Michael Jan writes for Hogan, so he got a little creative. I mean, I don't know how else you get. Andre would be laughing like crazy, saying, "Hey, boss, come to my room." I said to myself, "What now? What the hell did Andre do this time? Did he pull the curtains off and wipe his ass with them?" It was hard to predict. I wrote, Hogan's sussing out degeneracy. Oh, no. So I remember one day in particular, "Come here, boss." The closer I got, the more clearly I could hear him laughing. The more I could smell what he'd done. Damn, I thought. He goes in the room, and he, allegedly Andre couldn't, fit in the bathroom. So he laid newspaper all over the bed, and then just took a huge dump on the bed. It looked like a 3-foot pile of horse manure. Okay. And then he was just like, Andre thought it was very funny. That was Andre being playful. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think Andre was laying down newspaper on a bed and shitting on it like a fucking animal?
I would.
Awesome.
Or is this like Hogan is putting all this in his book? He's like, God, everyone thought Andre was like fucking ugly, and he fucking was just shitting in the tub in the fucking newspaper. Anyways,
Everyone called him a freak.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic. I don't.
Is he looking whenever he's been pulled to those WrestleManias where they had the Andre Battle Royal? Is he looking at the trophy and then he's nudging people? And he's like, saw this guy like shit on a bed covered in newspapers for fucking like 3 foot high.
And then he wiped
It's
his,
almost as
ass
tall as
with
his,
the,
yeah.
wiped his ass with
Yeah.
the curtains. Isn't that cool?
Shit was almost the size of a statue.
He's saying this to
Fucking
Kofi
crazy.
Kingston.
Yeah. Dude. Sometimes Andre would get playful in a different way. He had a couple little waitresses in Tokyo. Those 2 teeny little Japanese girls that were probably 4'8", 4'10". And you better believe I wrote, which is it, Hogan? It's 4'8", 4'10". What are we talking here?
4'9".
4'9". They were in love with him. Andre would call him during different hours of the night, giving him a play-by-play account of the action, making me listen to his girlfriends yelping like a couple puppies. Hey, that's how the Samoans were yelping in the snow. I just realized that.
How could you understand him?
So Hogan is getting called, and Andre's like, "Oh, Hulk, listen to this," and then you just hears like, "Yip yip yip, yip yip yip," or what is he hearing?
He's hearing, passion
He-
going on.
Maybe passion. We
Yeah.
love you, Andre. We love you. He was having a lot of fun. He was just a different type of brother. Having me listen to these 2 little Japanese women screaming for their lives. I'll never forget when I faced him in Shea Stadium in front of 55,000 people, August 1980. It's the largest crowd he'd wrestled in front of. Before that was 20,000 people in Dothan, Alabama.
Wait,
The top match.
I don't know that ever happened.
What?
Dothan,
When he was starting out?
Dothan was not drawn 20. I don't think so.
Well, the top match on that card was Bruno Sammartino against his protege, Larry Zbyszko. But to be honest with you, nobody cared about the Sammartino-Zbyszko matchup.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
I call him Zbyszko.
That was a hot program.
Zabisky.
Zbyszko. The only confrontation the fans really cared about was Andre versus Hulk Hogan. Just like Gus's response, I wrote, very saucy. First time this book has ever been saucy outside of the Iron Mike Sharp deodorant
Andre
scandal.
Hogan is fourth from the top.
Yeah.
Man, it's always the
What's
Wild
amazing?
Samoans above Hogan so far in every one of these.
They packed him in Shea with Zbyszko and
Oh yeah.
Bruno.
No one cared. They were there to see the fourth match from the
And
top.
36,000 is the number. It's not 55.
No. It was 55,000. So here's the problem. You might think that your opponent could pin you in a real fight. So say a guy pinning you. You're underneath him. You're going, this isn't real. I could kick out of this. Not with Andre. If he lays on top of you, you can't move. That's just a fact of life. Quote unquote. I remember that day at Shea Stadium being really confusing. I'd never been there before.
Can I bring my gun
I was-
in?
I was driving my own car. This is, again, Hogan. He might have dyslexia. I don't know. I kept passing the exit and ending up at LaGuardia.
Listen, I was a little overwhelmed driving in New York my first time.
But did you keep doing it over and over? We were like, missed it again. Lapping around. Here I am at LaGuardia. All right.
No, plus,
We're going to try this one.
shouldn't Shea fucking Stadium be pretty easy to find? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
there
in
be a
Queens,
million
like,
signs for it?
No one is traveling with Hogan at this point. He does not mention anybody being like, dude, we're going to be late.
Tony Altamonte's gone.
By the time he finally found Shea, there was such a crowd, I didn't know where to park. I don't know. Those lots around the... A person holding a sign saying parking. Then I had to find the dugout and the dressing room. It was very difficult, very disorienting. I felt like I was on another planet. This is when I wrote, who is dumber? Vince Russo, Al Snow. How did Vince Russo and Hogan not get along? Was it just two bullshitters and then the opposite of magnets instead of they repelled each other?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get I don't I was just
You
I
wouldn't
don't
ask
understand
the
what's
office,
happening.
Like at the last TV taping, be like, so what's this? The procedure, for the show. Hogan just
If only Al knew that Hogan spent so much of his life being confused about where he was, what planet he was on. I've never been on Earth and been in a different situation and been like, this is so disorienting. Oh my god, I'm in
He's a
this
surrealist.
Now I gotta find the dugout. Have you ever been to a baseball game? Have you ever watched a baseball game? I gotta find the dugout now.
Hogan's watching Twin Peaks, and he's like, I get it. This is real.
Yeah,
life.
he's locked in. Dude, this is every day for me. I'm in what is it? The
Red Room.
lodge. The red room. I'm in the red room, dude, all the time. That when he was like, I had to find the dugout and the dressing room. It's like, what? It's a concourse. There's a field. What?
Yeah, but I wouldn't know where to
Anyway.
go for the players only entrance.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't even know.
If you look like Hulk Hogan, just jump onto the field and be like, I'm going through the dugout. He's asking fans, like, where should I go? I left my car out there. Do you think it's going to get towed? Just parked it randomly down the street. Anyway, Andre beat me in that match. Little did I know that our rivalry was just beginning. This, I never heard it described like this. Wrestling was very territorial business in those days. I was like, it was. They were the territories. They were territorial. That's correct. Vince Sr.'s planning a lot of stuff for him. Of course, behind my back. Okay. He's going to send him down to Crockett Promotions in the Carolinas. I was so young and dumb back then. I wouldn't have understood what he was trying to tell me anyways. And he was trying to help me. I was like, do you understand anything? Every interaction Hogan has, he's like so fucking dumbfounded and confused so far. And yet he talked himself into the stevedore job.
Yeah.
And then he got a letter from an unexpected source. I didn't look this up, and I should have. Stranger in a Strange Land, Chapter 14. And I was like, I know we've read another book that had that as the chapter title. I feel like it's Brett's book or something. Stranger in a Strange Land. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Or like Vince or somebody wrote that? I'd have to go through the books. I didn't. I'm mad at myself.
Brett would be my best guess.
We were doing an Allentown TV. He's in the dressing room. He gets a note handed to him by Arnold Scotland, who was a backstage road agent. The note said, call Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, right, I thought. Sylvester Stallone wants to talk to me. I showed it to the guys in the dressing room, and they all had a good laugh, and I threw it away. So then he goes to Japan for 4 weeks. He goes back to America. TV, Allentown. Arnold hands him a Western Union letter. Said, Sylvester Stallone wants you to appear in the next Rocky movie. I had seen Rocky and Rocky 2, and Stallone seemed like a god in those movies. I remember sitting there thinking in the theater, it would be a dream come true if I could ever be in this type of movie. I'd sweep up behind the horses and parade to get on one of those movies. Just hate this. All this is bad. So he calls Sylvester Stallone. Then he found himself on a plane heading to Los Angeles. And he figures it was because the casting director was a woman named Rhonda Young, whose brother was a huge wrestling fan. His name was Peter Young. Stallone's looking for a wrestler. She goes to her brother. And she says, who's the biggest and best wrestler of all? And Peter said, well, there's this new guy named Hulk Hogan who picks 2 guys up at the same time and bear hugs them. In fact, I saw him bear hug 3 guys once. He ragdolls them and just throws them down. And I wrote, Peter sounds like Hulk Hogan. So Stallone got hold of a couple tapes of him wrestling in Madison Square Garden. The end of this story is Peter Young eventually became my agent and a lifelong friend. But at the time, he was just some fan from Boston who liked the way I wrestled. Lucky me.
Because, I was going to say I looked up Rhonda Young. I was surprised Hogan had gotten something correct. But if she's that close to him, he's going to get it.
Yeah. So, he shows up in the studio. I walked in the studio where they were going to meet Stallone. He goes, anyway, I went in the studio. So he puts a big camcorder in his face, a handheld camera. We're filming a documentary. You don't mind, do you? No, I don't mind. I didn't even know what a documentary was. Funny thing, in the American public's eyes, Sylvester Stallone was 700 feet tall. In reality, he was only 5'8" and 160 pounds.
Now, see, that's funny because Sly says he's 5'10" on Carson. And I knew he was lying about that.
Carson didn't call him out.
No.
Anyway, these pick up so much in the book. Anyway, Stallone asked me to get into the ring with him and move around a little. So Stallone takes a swing at me. Not knowing what he was after, I let him hit me. No, try to stop me from hitting you. I don't mind getting hit. I didn't have the slightest idea what he wanted. My nose was broken the other day and I hadn't gotten it fixed yet, so if you want, you can break it again. At this point, I'm imagining that Stallone is just staring at him like, what? What? I don't care what he did. I just want to get the part. And Stallone says, that's okay. Just try to stop me. And so then he throws a fist and Hogan fucking grabs it and fucking arm bars it and takes him down. Wow, you're pretty quick for a big guy.
Do you think he did like the whole flipping armbar?
Yeah, he fucking caught the fist and he fucking won't. Wow, you're pretty quick for a big guy. Well, if we were in a real fight and he ever got close enough to hit me, it would be all over. I could just take you down and break your arm or do whatever I wanted with you. It's like you're playing tennis with someone who's standing on the other side of the net with a bazooka in his hands. How do you win tennis with a bazooka?
That's the whole thing. It's not a contest.
So you're just gonna blow me up?
Yeah.
I'm here to play tennis with you and you pull out a bazooka. So wait, I smack the tennis ball and you fire a rocket?
Yes.
At that point, Stallone was like, this guy's so fucking dumb. I'm gonna offer him $10,000. You could see in his expression that he was impressed so far. You think it was this face that you give people when you're like, oh, okay, all right, buddy. Now hit me on the back as hard as you'd hit another wrestler. Nah, I don't think you want me to do that. Come on, I'm a tough guy, I could take it. You want me to hit you 50%? No, give me 100%. Hogan hits him with, quote, 75%. Very scientific. Of course, Stallone just goes straight down. And then but Stallone gets up. Everyone's panicked. He gets out of the ring. Then he goes to Hogan. He goes, all right. You're a nobody. You're nothing but a fake wrestler. Now get mad. Start talking. And for the first time that day, Hogan goes, I think I know what he wants me to do. It says, get mad, start talking. He wants us to do the promo spots. So I said, Rocky Balboa, I'll break you in half like a little toothpick. Okay. I'll turn you into a Philadelphia cheese sandwich. Huh? That's right. He lost me now. And then Hogan goes, stuff like that. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Turn you into a Philadelphia cheese sandwich. That's right. Stallone said, great, you got the job. Wow, that's unbelievable. I'll give you $10,000 to play a wrestler in my movie.
Here's the standard Hollywood contract.
Yeah. No, I want 15. I didn't know what I was talking about. No shit. I might have gotten a couple $100,000. Who knows? And I was like, what? Wait. Because that's not how the negotiations even go, even in his own interpretation. He's like, I could have said anything at that point, but he doesn't say anything. I just knew you never accept the first offer. So then Stallone goes, he doesn't even offer anything. He just goes, no. And Stallone goes, "What if I give you $14,000?" I took it. So without an agent, without even reading the contract, which I was like, Hogan learns. He learns. I signed something right there on the ring apron. Let me tell you, brother, I was ecstatic. He goes back to New York to Vince Sr. I got a part in the next Rocky movie. He thinks Vince Sr. is going to be happy for him.
No,
Just
you
one.
don't.
Yeah. Just One Problem by Brian Gewirtz. The shooting schedule conflicted with Vince's plans for me. You can't do this. You work for me. You're a wrestler, not an actor. I want to do this. It's only going to take 10 days. You can spare me for 10 days. Vince looked at me over his glasses. They're coming back, see? He is look at this, Michael Jan's a writer. This is how it works. If you leave to do the Rocky movie, you'll never work for this company again. Well, then I guess I'll never work here again. And he left to go to Los Angeles.
For $15,000.
He goes to film Rocky. There's a stunt coordinator there. His name is Tom Renesto. As it turned out, Tom Renesto had been working in the Florida wrestling office when I first started out there, and I did write, was he there for the meeting? He was one of the bookers there. And there he was on the set of Rocky 3, Small World, brother. Of course, I immediately was like, who was the real stunt coordinator for Rocky 3? And it was a guy named Ron Stein.
Okay. But did Ernesto work on it?
No, I could not find any mention of him ever or anything involved.
I mean, I would say it's only possible because Terry Funk did a couple Stallone movies as stunt coordinator.
Yeah. Maybe Terry was like...
because, you know,
if you want to do a wrestling match.
There's multiple stories of how Hogan got this movie. And one of them is Terry Funk getting it for him.
Yeah.
One is Bill Apter being involved.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised Bill Apter's got friends in Hollywood.
Oof.
Check Epstein's flight log. I want to do the stunts myself, Stone said. I want to take the hits myself. So Tom Ernesto's coming up with the choreography of the match.
Maybe that's where the phone numbers would go for the apartment wrestling ads. If you actually dialed them, they went to Epstein.
That's how I got to start through the back pages of Inside Wrestling.
Gizelle. Is it Gizelle? Ghislaine. How many wrestlers does she know? What does she know? Can we get a hold of her? Does she know how to click a string?
She definitely watched Big Daddy when she was younger, and thinks he should be in the Hall of Fame.
It's like an old Observer letter. Signed, Glazane M. Why don't you consider Big Daddy in the Hall?
Dave going, you know, she was a subscriber. You know, Dave sneaks that in about people.
Yeah. I know. I saw her in the news, and I'm going, wow, the same. Small world.
I wish we had a compilation of all the people
that he said as Observer.
Yeah,
I know two off the top of my head straight away. Eddie Guerrero, spelled correctly, because that's how he spelled it when he subscribed. Dave has always got to mention that.
I mean non-business people.
Oh, non-business people?
Yeah.
Oh, when he talks about, like, that's like that's like a professor.
Oh, you know, Paul Rudd actually is a subscriber, or, you know, he'll work something. Someone wacky like that.
Any presidents? Jimmy Carter? Was he a subscriber?
His mom probably was.
Hogan does the thing of, so they're going through the choreography. I guess I didn't look too happy about it. Because at lunchtime, Stallone asked me to eat with him in his trailer. What do you think of this Tom Ernesto? And I was like, this Tom Ernesto. What do you think of this guy? He's like, well, if he's truly a stunt coordinator on this thing, be like, what would this be? This conversation where he's like, what do you think about this guy that's already been hired and he's paid? And Hogan goes, I know him from my days in Florida when I first started. He knows a little bit about wrestling. What do you think about this match between Rocky Balboa and Thunder Lips? It'll be good. He's putting some good stuff together. How real do you think it is? Well, this guy Ernesto's probably a great stunt coordinator. I don't know. But I believe he's appeasing you. He's not showing the audience what would really happen if I get a hold of you. Because if I did, that fight would be over in 3 seconds. And then Stallone's like, well, we can't end it in 3 seconds. It's a movie. We need 9 minutes of footage. We need 10 to 15 big moves. And Hogan goes, what do you mean by big moves? Like a body slam over the top rope? 5 punches? And Stallone says, no, just like a punch would be like a big move in a movie. A body slam is a big move, yeah. Suplex is a big move. Hogan goes, you gotta be kidding. You only need 15 or 20 of those? What this guy's doing is all screwed up. It looks like two 250-pound guys doing the jazz dance together. It's not even close to what would really happen. So he's still back on that, though. Jazz dance. You ever jazz dance, Larry?
No.
It ain't jazz dance, folks. It's a little Jim Ross for you. So Stallone asked him, "Okay, can you make the match?" Of course I can. After lunch was over, I did not see Ernesto on the set. And he wrote down all 30 or 40 big moves. And so he's, I guess, saying that, hey, why don't you see Ernesto in the credits? He got fired after Hogan said, I know what's up. I'll do this.
He is listed on IMDb.
Ernesto?
Yeah.
As?
It says, additional crew, Tom Ernesto, wrestling.
Oh, there he is. I could not find that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. Okay. Then we got to the power slam. Are we back? Okay, we're back. Everyone's just very still.
Oh.
Okay.
Did we go somewhere?
Or are we still? No, we're not still. We're not that still. Hold on. I think we lost Larry. I'm gonna pause it. You're frozen, Larry.
No, you're
having
the only
trouble
one not
connecting.
moving.
Please check your internet connection. Okay.
I thought this was gonna be solved.
God.
Where's that?
Hold on. We're having issues. We're having big time issues.
Out there in Omaha.
I know. Okay. Well, look. I know. I had to get new mesh. I don't even know if we're going right now. Are we going right now? Are we recording? I keep pausing. It's just going nothing. Nothing's happening. I got new mesh extender thing gimmicks.
It's his
okay, it's recording. Okay. I like that when I said it's fine, it immediately just absolutely crashed on my end. I was like, no, okay, it's good, we're back. And it crashed.
Got the mesh extender.
And now, I'm near the new ones. I was just talking about, I was like, I think I got the bad ones? I think it's not good. See, on my thing, it's not even showing that it's recording. Is it showing recording for you?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll trust in this. Here we go. So they saved the power slam for the last move. And Hogan, he understands that Hogan, he's 330 pounds of bone and muscle. And that if he falls on Stallone, it's going to be bad. So they do the move last. And when he falls on Stallone, blood squirted out of his mouth. But he didn't bitch about it. Stallone just stood up and said, "Camera A, did you get it? Camera B, did you get it?" They both go, "Yeah, we got it." Stallone said, "Print, good enough, move on." Then he went back to his trailer and spit up blood for a while. Okay. So Rocky
Does he
3
know
comes
that
out.
internal bleeding is a wrestling trope? And if it would really happen, you'd probably be dying.
Brother, in a real fight, if I landed on you, you'd be spitting up blood. So he's not really worried about the Vince McMahon thing. He's just go work in Japan. When I came back to LA, I ran around with Stallone for a while. He and his wife had just gotten divorced. Wrong. This is 1982. They got divorced in 1985. He was single again, and everybody knew it. He just finished Rocky 3 and he was about to do Rambo. He was hotter than a firecracker. This is going to be a little... You guys have both seen Rambo, correct? No?
Not really.
Yeah.
Gus, have you ever seen Rambo?
No.
There's a guy that's like Rambo's handler, from the army, the whatever.
The old guy?
Yeah, he played by Richard Crenna.
Yeah.
Originally, that was supposed to be Kirk Douglas, and kind of Googling thing, as you go, as we're reading this thing. And he quit the day before filming started. This is according to Sylvester Stallone. He shows up, right? It's the day before. He's like, I got notes on my character. And this is according to Stallone. He said to me, "Here's what I want. At the very end of the movie, I should kill you. The audience sees a cop car driving away, and as it disappears into the fog, a hand reaches up the rearview mirror. The camera turns up, we see me. It turns up a bit higher, and I'm wearing your headband."
Wow.
Kirk Douglas has got the Rambo. He's killed Rambo. And he's wearing his old military operative. Is like, gotcha.
Really? Right?
And
really fantasy booking himself.
Yeah. And so, of course, Stallone, him and the director go, "That's not happening." And so Kirk calls his agent and is like, "I quit. I can't do this." Women would just come out of nowhere, throw themselves at him. I would meet him for lunch somewhere, and all of a sudden we would be surrounded by 20 gorgeous blondes with fake tits and fake noses. Talking about FTFN? Fake tits, fake noses?
Is that a
If
thing?
Stallone just... No. If Stallone decided he liked one of them, he'd leave with her. Then his best buddy here would have his choice of number 2. It was a beautiful thing. Looking back, I don't know how the hell I ever did it, but it was a lot of fun. I was like, what, pick up Stallone seconds? How did you do it? Sounded like you just sat there and didn't seem complicated. This is one of the greatest sentences we've ever had. Hold on, this next one. This is one of the greatest sentences of all the books we've ever done.
Great.
Somewhere during that time, comma, somewhere during that time, comma, I got an idea. Just in the general area of 1982. I wrote this, like, what? At what point is Michael Jan listening to all this and he's like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Now, see, Stallone had production stills of Rocky 3. He wasn't supposed to release the pictures yet, but he gave them to me, and I sent them to a promoter in Minnesota named Vern Gagne. Right? Gagne. We're doing this again, and we've read about him. Gagne.
Yeah.
A 2-time NCAA champion. Vern called me as soon as he got the publicity shots. He was a shrewd guy. He knew he was looking at a damn gold mine. How soon can you start? Right away.
Can I? I'm gonna throw some water on this. Ready?
That's fine.
He leaves WWF April 18th, 1981. Okay.
Yeah.
I assume then he shoots the movie because by May 8th, he is in Japan for a month. And then he's wrestling in Florida. So he had no stretch of living with Sylvester Stallone in Los Angeles here.
That can't be true because he wrote, but I didn't really leave LA behind. I kept coming back for one reason or another.
He does work, which is interesting. So his first match after WWF and then New Japan, he works NWA Hollywood. So he works the fucking Los Angeles territory one show. And then goes back to Florida for a month. And then he goes to the AWA.
Maybe he thinks Florida is like Los Angeles?
But he's in the AWA, 4 months after he leaves, 3 months after he leaves Vince. So, I don't know where he's cramming all this living in.
Well, start of a new paragraph. Anyway, Rocky 3 was just as popular as everybody thought it would be. It made a zillion, with a Z, zillion dollars. Everybody got rich, except me. I was getting exposure. Pretty soon I'd get even more exposure than I wanted. Anyway, this is like what there's a paragraph, we even call it that, and then there's a sentence, and then there's another. Anyway, Stallone's promoting Rocky 3 on the Tonight Show. In those days, Johnny Carson was the host. Thank you, Hope. Carson says he's so. Then on the interview with Stallone, Carson goes, "He's great. Who is he?" He's talking about Thunderlips. Stallone wanted to talk about how many hours it took to film Rocky 3 and how good all the boxing scenes were, but Carson kept asking about the wrestler. He probably asked 3 or 4 times. It was pretty funny.
Once, right?
Yes, yeah, I didn't. This was a normal interview, nothing. I did note that Johnny Carson pronounces it Stallone. Most people say Stallone. Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
Then Stallone went on the Today Show and other talk shows. He didn't bring up the subject of Thunderlips, the wrestler. He didn't want me to overshadow the rest of the movie. The fucking hubris on this guy right now. What the fuck? Does he really think people to this day watch Rocky 3 and they're like, ah, yes, the Hulk Hogan movie? He's in it for...
Yeah.
What? Like you said, like 8 minutes? Tops?
Yeah. It doesn't feel that long.
Then Johnny Carson. He's going insane. He asked the firm that's promoting the movie, "What's going on with Thunderlips?" He just keeps calling. He drove them crazy. So they finally hunted him down and put him in touch with the Tonight Show. Before I knew it, I was sitting backstage in the green room wearing a black silk tank top.
Why did Hogan have titty sweat?
Because he's nervous. Oh, and in the picture you can see it too. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You couldn't see the bands of sweat under my pecs.
Yeah. I was real nervous. Well, then Brooks, so then they're like, hey, okay, after your segment, just sit down next to the couch. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have the next guest. Then Brooke Shields came out. She was about 15. A very pretty lady. Very friendly. I did the math on this. She was 17 at the time. But let's continue as Hogan believes her to be 15. Actually, I'd end up working with Brooke Shields 20 years later when she had a sitcom called Suddenly Susan. But of course, I didn't know that when we were sitting there. Why would you?
God.
Johnny Carson wanted to pose for a picture. Brooke Shields was hanging and kidding with us. All of a sudden, her mother showed up. Talk about overprotective. She didn't let Brooke get anywhere near me the rest of the time we were there. Wait, do you want to do a Hulk Legion of the Doom thing? You think she's 15?
Hey man,
What are you alluding
she's
to?
already shown it on screen. It's all good. The mom said it was
That's it.
okay.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan. Oh man, Brooke's mom. He's going to Johnny. Brooke's mom's such a cock block, dude. See that 15-year-old girl over there? Larry Nelson's over there sweating.
No, Hulk,
I know
no.
all about this. I know all about this. In Canada, I think it's legal. I don't know. So then Stallone calls
What a
him.
gross guy Hawk is, right? I mean, you can...
What, to go up in the airport and tell Larry Nelson about what he did? And Larry Nelson is wishing he wore a black tank top because he's sweating so much. He's so fucking nervous as he's like, this guy's he's admitting a crime to me. We got to get out of here. Stallone calls Hogan and he goes, you need to do a real high tone, quote, men's magazine called We. And they're going to be naked girls by the pool. They're going to take pictures of you. And Hogan, again, couches it. I was single at the time, but I didn't want to get involved with anything too weird. What do you mean naked? And then Stallone goes, it's not like Hustler. There'll be 4 girls feeding you grapes. You'll be in your wrestling clothes.
Why would he know this much about the shoot?
I don't know, because looking at that article that's in that magazine, this is driven by whoever's representing Hogan. There's no way. Did you look at that? Did you look at the pages?
I couldn't really zoom in well.
Okay.
I will right
Because
now.
I'll zoom in right now. First of all, the cover for the Man of the 80s, We, November 1982. Here are the top stories. Robin Moore on the Hoffa hit. Orson Bean's revolt against women's lib. From Star Trek II, Khan's crony, Laura Banks. And from Rocky III, Hulk, Thunderlips Hogan. And then finally, from centerfold to center stage, cover girl Cheryl Rickson is Rock's first sex bomb. Then you go to his article, and the title of the story is My Boy Hulk.
Right. It's with his mom.
Yeah, written by Ruth Hogan and Bill Belleville. And then underneath it goes, in Rocky III, he's Thunderlips, womanizer and decidedly ungentle giant. On the circuit, he's Hulk, bone-crushing bad guy. But in Tampa, he's just the best boy a mom ever had. And by the way, his shirt says, Eye of the Hulkster. So there you go. And he's kind of pouting, and he's got 2 brunettes, and they've got the stars are over their nips on this picture. And then there's another picture of him, and he's like, I don't know what he's doing. He's holding them all, I guess. But they all have luchador masks on, but their tits are hanging out. And then there's another one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And then there's another one where he's just standing there. They're all like hanging on him. There's another one where he's like holding them. Then another one where he's making like a kissy face. Another one he's got sunglasses on. Another one where he's on a like a what do you call that? Like a lawn chair, like a beach chair.
Sure.
and she's saddling him.
Yeah, that was risque.
And then there's one where he's just, I guess it looks, he's right there at her nipples because the star is covering over his face. So he's either looking directly at it
Yeah,
or like he's doing something with it. I don't know what. But he looks so rigid with the gal on top of him. He's just like arms straight, just. Then there's one of
like
him
a guy
looking kind of
first lap dance.
Yeah, he's very like his head. He's not reclined back. His head is like forward, like his neck hurts. And then it's him in the pool. This woman's got her jugs out, and he's holding her, and he's kind of looking at the camera guy like, "Are we done?" And then it's just him in his underwear.
In a fighting
Like,
stance.
yeah, he's ready to wrestle with a little pecker. I mean, I'm sure it's comparatively to his body. Andre, could it be big like you so my pecker looks so small? So he goes, Stallone was my mentor as far as Hollywood's concerned. And I was like, wait, I thought he was burying you.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think I should do? He'll be great for you, no problem. So I agreed to do it. He claims he goes to Ozzy Osbourne's house. And 4 or 5 of these girls showed up. We took pictures by the pool for 3 or 4 hours. First, we were all dressed. Then they took pictures of the girls taking my shirt off, then my boots. When I got down to my wrestling tights, these girls pulled their tops off. When the magazine came out, there were probably like 8 or 9 different shots of me with these topless girls. And I was like, the one time Hogan's right. There are 9 pictures. This dude has memorized this magazine.
Like you
That was
would.
it. Boom, done. If I was in a thing, would I know how many pictures I have in a printed magazine where I'm within naked women?
Yes.
I could see a Hollywood bad boy doing it. No?
But the story is about how his mom loves him so much. That's the weird part of this. I guess we kind of glossed over again.
Yeah, we really did undersell that.
The whole story, like, look, one of the quotes, you know, they put the little quotes of part of the story in it, like a little bit bigger. He was he was big as a baby, just like his 2 brothers. Every time one was born, I'd say to my husband, that's definitely going to be the last one. That's in the article where he's posing with all these women.
What's the problem?
Mom, Stallone says I need to do this nudie magazine, but they want you to write the story. Are you in? Yes, I'll call it My Boy Hulk. Have you guys heard of this? I never heard of this Wii magazine thing.
No, I was not familiar.
No.
He goes, those pictures would come back to haunt me, brother. They would haunt me big time. I was like, when?
I know. Vern probably got mad about it at one point. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw you with all these girls with their tits out.
Wow, made it all the way to 2007.
Wow.
72 to 2007. That's
Just somebody selling one of these Wii magazines for like over $200. Give me a break.
Feels like a British concept. You know how they have the page 6 girl?
yeah, right.
It's kind of legitimate to have this tits and hard news right next to each other.
It was French
Wii
originally.
magazine.
Yeah.
Wii was a men's adult pornographic magazine. Thank you. Published in the United States, featuring explicit nudes. I like that somebody put in here, "Oui" is French for yes. Thank you. In the late 70s, we published some interesting articles, including, "Is this the man who ate Michael Rockefeller?" It's a photograph of a grinning New Guinea native.
Oh.
Oh, geez, Jesse was reading it. Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, they did some
A lot of
reporting on the
reporting on the CIA versus USA, the agency's plot to take over America. Post Playboy years. Wow, management realized that We was taking more readers from Playboy than from Penthouse, so they sold it. Interesting. Yeah, it turns into like X-rated comics. What the hell? Then it expanded its photo content to hardcore in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Explicit penetration.
Great.
Wee. Wow. Has Hogan ever done a Playboy interview?
No.
Like straight up?
No.
I think Vince might be the only wrestling person.
Oh, the only thing that comes up is Hulk Hogan advertising Right Guard in the July 91 edition of Playboy. Which that had to be in other magazines. This person's just a pervert.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's in Playboy? Yeah.
I wonder if Jesse did one.
Oh, that's a good call.
Okay. But by the way, when Hogan was talking about
he
Andre
did. Okay.
and all his bathroom troubles,
Ooh, while he was governor, so it got him heat.
come on now.
I'm just
sir.
trying to speak to the upscale of a men's magazine.
Yeah, come on.
What are you doing?
When he was talking about Andre and the toilet troubles, does that mean Paul White's doing that stuff?
And you know what? Paul's probably taller than Andre was. I think he's a legit 7 foot.
Yeah, I mean, Big Show's probably shit in a bathtub. I don't know if that's his.
Is she shitting on a bathtub?
But that's
I don't know if
true that Andre couldn't even fit in the tub either, which doesn't make any sense.
Why is Andre doing this? Why is Paul White? Why is Paul White doing
I mean, their
this?
anus is not bigger than the fucking hole in the toilet.
Right.
You can't squat. I'm pretty sure I could shit into a toilet half the size of mine if I really tried. It wouldn't be fun.
Do you-
but
Do you think when Hogan met Paul White, he was like, "You shit in the bathtub, don't you?" Yeah. How'd you know? Here's a little trick. You lay newspaper, you go down, you grab a USA Today, you go back upstairs.
In the lobby.
you just squat on
You
the bed
lay it
and
all down
grab
on your bed.
grab the
You just
curtain.
shit right on the bed. They won't say anything. They'll just clean it up like whatever. Who cares?
Grab the shower curtain on your way
Thanks.
out.
Yeah. The toilet paper's too small for that big asshole, huh? That's why you got to use a towel or the curtains, the shower curtains. Oh fuck. Are we done? Are we calling it?
Yeah. You
Okay.
didn't
By the
read
way,
it.
yeah, I didn't really get it. Hogan goes to Minnesota. We'll knock out a big chunk next time.
Yeah, no, that was
Maybe not. Hogan's a bit.
I thought we
Hogan's a
did.
big guy. We spent a lot of time talking about Hogan. He's a major character. It's okay.
Yeah, he's doing
It's
good.
okay to
numbers.
crack his little. Oh my, he's doing good numbers. We're up to 15 listens. All right,
Dozens of listens.
dozens.
No, but I expect many more tall tales that we haven't even gotten to yet.
No,
About partying with John Belushi after WrestleMania 2. Stuff like that.
Oh fucking hell! I don't know any of these tall tales. I never paid him no mind. Lord Almighty,
He says
people
that.
like this guy. People like this guy.
When did Belushi die?
Let's see. John Belushi, 82.
This
33.
says it's an 86.
Whoops.
because he says it was after WrestleMania 2 he was out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Maybe he partied with Jim.
Yeah, it might have been Jim. Jim's reading the book and he's like, "What the fuck, man?"
It's like that time Hogan got Bam and what's his name mixed up on Twitter. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Pete Dunne, or what
Yeah,
was his name?
Like, R.I.P. Bam, and Bam's like, I'm alive. And Hogan's like, sorry, brother.
Not Pete Dunne. What's the front?
Ryan
Ryan Dunn. I just typed in Bam Bam, which that's not his name. It's Bam Margera. Pete Dunne is a wrestler. Bam Bam is a wrestler. I'm getting there. We'll figure it out.
All right, we're done.
All right. Bye bye.
Good night.